Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to uLaw CPD webinar. Topic for today's session is Law Society Bookkeeping Compliances. We're going to be talking about various reporting aspects of bookkeeping, including the monthly compliances and year-end compliances, keeping in mind all the law societies across Canada, including Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, New Brunswick, and more. We're also going to be seeing some key points to keep in mind while doing the data entry that would be later showing up as reports or later be showing up as data on the reports that get generated, including journals, ledgers, fee book, Form 9As, expense book, and more. Most important of all is what helps you with the reconciliation process as well. So these are a few things that we're planning to see today. And while people are joining, and I see more people joining, and so there is technically a 5-minute delay because I also had to restart my system, which always happens right before webinars. Sorry about that. So we're going to be starting at 2:05, and the end time would be 3:05 Eastern Standard Time. So once joining in, please settle in. I request you to use the phone audio in case you're not finding my voice clear enough. I would recommend you to switch over to phone audio. Thank you. I request everyone to make a note as today's topic information is Law Society Bookkeeping Compliance. This is entitled for an hour of professionalism CPD credits. Please make a note of it and to let us know if you have any questions. It'll be nice to have someone also let me know on the chat window if I'm audible enough to get started. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, so I know we're all very eager to learn more about this topic. This is one topic that I always find, nice to talk about because somewhere down the lane, it's going to help people to keep their books in order, to keep their compliances intact, to make sure they're at par with, the monthly reconciliations or other law society compliances requirement. So over here, whether we are you're a sole practitioner or a partnership firm or a professional corporation or any other type of legal practice firm, the basics are the same. Whether you do a drawing the statement for one or two or multiple users, it's the corporation or the firm that needs these documents in order. So in the sense, starting off with as basic as journals. Now, what goes behind getting those important details? Very simple thing is that when you are servicing a client, expectation is to fulfill your client's needs, right? You to make sure that you're getting the retainer agreement signed, you collect the retainers, you give them a receipt. It is all of this forms part of the client matter management or servicing client communication, etc. Now, what is behind the scenes is, according to me, are these accounting and compliance. When you're servicing a client and you give them a receipt, what goes into that receipt is what is going to end of the day show in your journals and ledgers. Your receipt, client's receipt number, the amount, the reference numbers, full name of the recipient, or the payee details, the payer details, and all such things, right? Whether it's a receipt or a payment, depending upon the type of incoming wire or outgoing, you'll have to record them, capture them. That's what I would say. Capture them nicely into the respective books of accounts, and yeah, and then you'll be able to gather all the information on time and produce these reports, and that will end up helping you for your monthly compliances. Because let's say you have a payment coming in, you record these into the books of accounts, whichever books of accounts, whichever method accounting system that you're using. Yeah, I think you need to make sure to do that. And let's say now we're talking about legal accounting software. Like you all know, uLaw is a legal practice management. Let's say we talk about legal accounting software. It's designed for trust accounting. You have all automated journals, ledgers, any other financial reports. But again, for us to be able to generate these reports, now you need to ensure that every now and then when you add a transaction into the books of accounts, you ensure to capture the date, the particulars, what was it for, amounts, whether it's a receipt or a disbursement, and which of the bank accounts was used, and the reference numbers and more. Now, see, when you are generating a ledger, it's a limited information, and it's like both receipt and disbursement of a single type of ledger shown in the same place. Whereas when you go drill down to journals, it's more information where you get to see the reference numbers and check numbers and other things, right? Now, if it's a payment, then you get to see the invoice number and before taxes, after taxes kind of details. So journals are typically a more detailed version of ledgers, because ledgers show typically both the types of transactions. So you have only two ledgers. There's a trust ledger and there's a general ledger. Whereas trust ledger will show both receipts and payments out of that, and general ledger will show again both receipts and payments out of that respective bank account. While you take journal, there are 4 different journals. You have one receipt journal, one disbursement journal, each for each type of bank account. So you will have one for trust and then two for trust and 2 for general. Now, uLaw can generate these in like seconds. You all know that. But if it is appropriate, or does it contain accurate information, that is something for a bookkeeper or an accountant or you yourself, if you're the one who's doing it, to decide. Because one, you need to add the information every now and then, like ensuring that every single type of activity, whether receipt or a disbursement, goes through the books of accounts, trust and general respectively again. And then you have the method of payments, the purpose, the date, particulars, bank accounts. That's why, in a uLaw system, right, we go through so many of these, and you will need to add in all the information every now and then. That would end up helping you with reconciliation process. Beside that, we also have these disbursement journals to contain information of purpose. So that will allow you to see whether it was for office expenses or it was a client disbursement or so. So once you have all these information recorded into the system, like every month, end of the month, before end of the next month, you will have to reconcile the previous month in. Now, I think we're all in November mid. before end of November, like 25th of November is the cutoff date for reconciling your trust, or 31st of October. So that gives you like about 25 days time to reconcile your books. Once you have your bank statements and once you find that time, you just need to make sure that you have your books in order and add in all the information. Once the reconciliation is done, you need to ensure that once the data entry is done, you need to ensure the reconciliation is done every month with the balance as per the bank statement that you get. So for 31st October now, you log into your bank or you have your paper statement that you've received, take the balance as per the bank statement as on end of that month, and then go into the software, click on the reconciliation trust or general respectively, enter the balances. First you need to do is select the date, like which is the month end that you're doing the reconciliation for, and then you enter the amount, and then you clear the transactions, and then you would be able to do the reconciliation. So recording of the balances using the date, and then recording of the balances, then clearing the transactions, and making sure that all of your outstanding deposits or outstanding withdrawals noted and marked, so that the following month you can make sure that they get cleared. For some reason, I feel some of us miss out on these outstanding. What are these the whole point of us highlighting these for you in the reconciliation statement on the second or the third page is that you can take actions appropriately. Now, all the outstanding deposits means that you have forgotten to either deposit a check into your bank, or you need to follow up to see whether something needs to be done there. Now, all the outstanding checks are that you would have given some check as maybe a withdrawal, like a refund of a retainer or any other expense, any kind of, is outstanding. Mostly I've seen is, any client outstandings are through any payment given to their client. So make sure that you reach out to them and ensure that it's taken care. Anything beyond 3 months, you need to address it. I think you might have to issue a new check for that. So recording of these deposits, outstanding, and then if there are any bank errors, you will need to then ensure to record them. So what are bank errors? Now, bank errors typically are any charges laid on your trust account. Now, trust is your client's pool funds. Now, that is used solely for that particular client or whoever else that has balance in trust. Now, anything that is done apart from that is known as bank error, whether you have your money input in, or whether you have withdrawn excess money, or whether your bank has charged you some money. If this goes under the bank error, be fixed. If the bank is itself like a bank fee or something, whenever there's an email transfer, you send back some money to your client using email transfer. I've seen this very commonly where bank would charge like $1.50. Now, there are a couple of ways you can fix this. One, you can ask the bank to only reverse the charge. Two, you can move that money from your general account to trust account to cover the charges. And then you can, record it as if it was a bank expense or an office expense. These are the two things. But you might, to avoid the same issue or mistake going forward, you might have to give a standing instruction to your bank them to recover these bank fee from your general account and not your trust account. I mean, technically, if your bank is experienced handling trust account, they would be knowing it. Very few times I've come across this. And yeah, it's something you might have to request and ensure they follow. Nice. I can see a couple of questions here. No, Benita, we don't send the documents. What we do is, yeah, I mean, if you are doing, if you have a premium bookkeeper with us and then they do it, but the software doesn't do it. This is something we have to download it ourselves. Or if you have an assistant or a bookkeeper, they will help you out. But it's pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure that, your data entry part is relevant. Honestly, whoever is attending the webinar today, right? One of the key points here that I would say for a very, very important aspect of downloading these statements, I've seen people download these statements, but it's not, sometimes it's not 100% accurate. Why? Because of your data entered. We only give you the output, but you provide us with the input. So if your input is accurate, your output will also be accurate. So for us to give you the accurate output, I would request you to follow all this that we're discussing now. Right from the day one, add all the information incoming and outgoing. What is the easiest way you could do this is follow your bank. I always tell my people, like, the clients who reach out to support or who come on onboarding with us, I always recommend them to follow your bank. Have a software from day one, which will allow you to integrate with Bank Connect, bank statements, and then bring in all of the transactions, ensuring that you have recorded the perfect date, amount, particulars, reference numbers. And, this not only helps you to reconcile your books, but also provides you with the statements that we're talking about, the 2 ledgers, 4 journals, fee book, expense book, Form 90, 2 reconciliation statements, actually 3 if you have a business credit card also. Many of us are not aware that general and credit card needs to be reconciled as well. But trust me, even though trust is something that is mandated, general is also part of your monthly compliances. General includes credit card. General and business credit card, both are equally important to be reconciled, because only then you will know your true picture, the true picture of the taxes and all of those. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Someone if they would be given the slides. No, but we have this session being recorded, Ms. Benita. I'll share this. I have your email ID and I'm going to share this recording link once we have this. Okay, so now, how many of you have generated these documents like fee book and other compliance documents in your life? I would love to know if you can put it on the chat window, because it's a little awareness, right, that I would like to see how many of you really, really do this on a monthly basis. And it will also be motivating for others to know if you are really doing this on a monthly basis. And don't lie, okay? Be honest. So going back to it, see, I know for a fact we all reconcile. If you're someone who has a software, who has a bookkeeper, or who's really on top of your books, but all those people like to do their monthly reconciliations. They have this. Monthly reconciliation is just a 4-step process. Literally, if you are bang on with your numbers, be bang on with your numbers. Use some simple techniques like connect your banks or import your visit statements, or you can from day one have all your transactions for the respective receipts, like retainer receipts or trust transfers, all recorded from day one. Now the simple way is to record these transactions. Very disciplined manner. A client pays you, immediately open uLaw account or your respective software, and then punch it in. Like, I know it might sound like an old school. That's why I said if you have your Bank Connect, then At least the expense portion is taken care, right? Like you only have to review them and take action. But receipts, it's one way good. We still have this old school method of you having to go and do it, but things are getting much more faster with AI, where you can record the dockets using your phone mic. You can record your, you can use AI document generations to pull out all the invoices and other agreements, and things are faster if you really use the software inside out. But yes, you have to do it. You will have to intervene. A human intervention is needed here, where you will have to intervene to gather all these information, and then boom, everything will go in the folder, and then you can always be ready for a law society audit. The whole idea of using the software is ensuring that you're able to reconcile your books, you have your law society compliance documents in the folder, and then you're able to sleep well, right? I know people who have failed to reconcile for months, and they would lose on sleep and then come to me at the end of the day and say, you know what, G3, this is something that's bothering me. So let it wait. Don't sit on it. That's my humble recommendation. Like, if you're someone who has to stop it, better late than never. So start at any day and then try to form all these records, your Form 9As, your slips, deposit slips. All of these are also equally important. So make sure to gather all of these information for you to be able to do it. Okay, I have some people saying I've been using uLaw for 10 years. Oh, Ian, thank you so much, and it's really amazing. Yeah, no, thank you for that. See, one thing I always recommend is not having software is sufficient, right? Like having a software is good. Like, it allows you to smoothen out things. You're able to go and record your client's information, those dockets, raise an invoice, send it to your client, get paid. Yes, great. I've seen many people do only till that portion. That portion, good for you, good for your firm, because you're earning, you're having money come in. But what happens after that? Because Law Society would like to know, how do you manage the funds? How do you take the funds out of trust? They don't know otherwise, right? So the invoice that was raised is not sufficient for you to just get paid from trust to the general. Show the trust transfers, show the EFTs, which is called as electronic fund transfers requisition forms. It's Form 9A if you're in Ontario. Every time you electronically move funds from trust to the general, or even out of trust using electronic funds, then you will have to, do that, right? So, yeah. Let's say now you have your fee book, you have your invoice numbers, you have HST reports. Yeah, this is also relevant for your HST, GST, PST, your taxes, and also for your annual report filing, year-end, and more. So ensure that you have all of these in order to be able to file your returns, so you don't have any hiccups, you don't have any issues with filing taxes. Everything is straightforward. You just go into uLaw, download balance sheet, trial balance, P&L, and you'll give it to your accountants and ask them to file taxes. As simple as that. But for you to be able to do that, you should be confident enough to know if the numbers that you've entered it into the software is relevant. Now, how much time do you really take to manage all of these? Straightforward, depends on the size of the firm, volume of the transaction, which I understand. But on an average, if somebody has to spend about 2 to 3 hours a month ensuring all of these are intact, there's nothing like that. You have got it covered. You have their invoices, you have their payments, you have their retainers, you have the trust transfers in, you have the Form 9As, you have the reconciliation statements, monthly, trust in general. So, the power of translation from client to the matter to the accounting, now that's exactly what I would call as, a big time saver because you have the client in, you have their files open, you have their dockets, their trust amounts, the general amounts, disbursements, invoice raised, transferring funds from trust to the general, and pay yourself end of the day. I know there are about 5 to 6 steps before you can pay yourself. Now, that's not too bad, right? Like these are very straightforward unless you have to, learn the software and then do it. But end of the day, these are some things that are really, really helpful, saving your time and energy and ensuring that you have them all in one place. That the centralized accounting system and matter management, where you have all the data in one place and automatically maintaining the journals, the ledgers, workflow, and all of it. So and I cannot think beyond the uLaw that does benefit for like this. So if you are here today attending the soft, and you don't have a software, don't wait for it. Just go and register. If you're someone who has just purchased the software, explore it. I would say the initial few days can be tough, I won't lie, but take help of the support, take help of your, the trainee, and take help from your trainer and try to get, more idea of how things work, right? Because these really carry tons of information, and so much of these are so relevant, and we tend to miss it out and miss out on it because we are most likely in a run always. What we tend to use the software would mainly be for client matter management and a little bit of accounting, especially trust, but there's way beyond it. The other compliances that we saw today, including your fee book or your Form 9As or your expense books. These are possible only if you do an end-to-end action. No, yeah. You know what, Benita, thank you for your question again. This 30-day trial is actually now 15-day trial. You know what? Honestly, I've not, every week I would tell you guys here that I want to change this and come back, but my mistake. I'm going to make sure that next week I'm here. I'm going to make sure to show it as 15-day trial. This is our uLawPractice 15-day trial for the software, but for the bookkeeping, I can have someone reach out to you. I do have to tell you all here that we do have a 3-month account waived off going on right now. By 30th of November, you do get your accountant account for free for like 3 months. It's a $30, 30 CAD plus taxes per month. That's the accountant account. Someone reach out to you, Benita. I do have your phone number and email, so I will have someone reach out to you so that they can explain everything clearly. Thank you. Thank you for showing interest. Thank you. Now, let me walk you all through uLawPractice. I know it's a short presentation, but more into the reality of this, using this. I know all of us can go over the presentation again, but there's a recording that's been done. So you're welcome to look into it. But what really goes through the bookkeeping compliances, I want to walk you all through this here in uLawPractice. Considering that we also had a recent FinSight dashboard release that happened sometime this month, late last month, I'm going to walk you through that and show you how you could benefit from overviewing of finance, the FinSight dashboard, understanding how you could save your money and ensure that you could be on top of your books. So let's get started off with the regular client account creation. So you all know that to create a client, you go into contacts, either use a client portal or a manual method of adding a new client. And you want to give in a few basic information, then you can record. And then you save. And the compliances for bookkeeping is only after you start adding the details. And we have the due date. If you have an assistant, now let's start off with retainer. So you want to give them a simple retainer letter. Load. Before you raise any voice, make sure to record the retainer and the just. Now, the whole point of bookkeeping compliance is data entry. Within few seconds, you can really make sure to have a complete and accurate data. Now, I just went and clicked on retain by ensured that the date was the date I received, amount, method of payment, reference number, received, and applied, right? And then download. My retainer receipt. This transaction now showing up in my trust receipt journal, trust ledger as with all the details. I'm going to let's go into treatments. It's simple. Let's do a flat rate. Okay. Let's say I'd like to do a 1,500. Um, Here is where you can actually save some time. Like, you want to record, we can do it. Met with the client, discussed case proceedings, includes child custody, alimony, and also facing some charges. Let me specify. Hope it recorded. Let me check. Yeah, there we go. So simple as that. You can just talk into the mic, convert, click on speech to text, and then use AI tools. And you know what? Just going with the AI tools to see, play around, and save a bit of time. It's just the first few times until you figure this out, and then you have hang of it, and then you'll be able to get to it within again a few seconds. Now apply and then see. You have your retainer in, you have your docket in. Let's see if you can get some disbursement. Add new disbursement. If it's paid from trust, great. Let's do one from trust and one from general to see how the compliance documents records these. Again, I have my date. I've got it right. I have the amount. I have the method of payment. Let's say I have all the details here. Code fee. If you are doing a check, you can always print your check. I'm going to do the invoice. Once you raise the invoice, once we have invoice raised, we will be able to transfer what's remaining in the trust. Now you're going to click on to see what has really happened in the trust so far. You have a 500 retainer. You've pulled out 200 for disbursement, and you have 300 remaining. And then now we go into the general tab to see what has really happened there. Nothing. It's just a 2,800 legal fee, which is inclusive of, the flat rate and all. Going to complete, skip review. Sorry, I've already skipped that. Let me check on the question mark. Okay, great. So now I have the invoice showing up here, so everything good. I'm going to transfer what belongs to me, transfer from trust to the general, because I've raised the invoice for the amount 2,800. It's asking me to transfer the 300 that's remaining in the trust. And then whatever is pending to be paid by the client, they can transfer it using email transfer to your general account. Because I did an electronic trust transfer from trust to the general, I'm doing a form. back in there. I'm going to accept the e-transfer into general, and then I'm going to start showing you all the bookkeeping compliance. So now just watch again the date, make sure exactly the amount that the client owes you, not more. Reference numbers, method of payments. Download. This is the payment receipt for the amount that came into your general. There's also receipts for it. Yes, that's what I'm just downloading. I would client pay to general. Now, if your work is done, like technically here, my work was done. I raised a flat rate invoice. I only got a $500 retainer. I mean, if you want the client to pay into your trust, you can still add it in, but it's not a retainer. It'll be called as another payment deposit. And then you have to move it again from trust to the general, which is an additional step. So that's why if you're ideally done with the work, right, like, Law Society says, you can get paid directly into your general. You don't have to go through the trust. Trust is before you complete any work. You want to retain any funds, then you mostly use trust. Trust is like liability. But since you're done, yes. Hope that clears. So yeah, I think I've done pretty much all of it here. One of the important even though it's not a bookkeeping compliance statement, but one of the most important bookkeeping documents that I would do at end of each and every file is statements. Let's say every time you finish working on a matter, right? Like your work is done here. You're going to basically mark as close this file. Thing I would do before that is go into statements, download something called as Trust Plus General. What does this Trust Plus General do? Okay. This Trust Plus General statement. Give me a second. It's a big bar. Let me try to pull it up again. Okay, there you go. This one shows me exactly everything in trust in general from day one for this client. Now I got a $500 retainer, $200 I used for a trust payout directly with $300 remaining. I transferred that from trust to the general, so which is called as a trust transfer for the respective invoice number. And then when I come here, it gives me that invoice number, so verify that. And then all of this is mostly for the auditors and accountants to verify. But as a solo practitioner or a small mid firm, you want to have on every single thing that you go through on a daily basis. One statement that I would say will never fail you to understand what's really going on. Okay. Hope I'm not confusing all of you with all the statements and numbers. Yes. But this is the matter level. Now let's get out of the matter. Let's go to the real accounts. One thing I really, really admire about uLaw is that everything you enter at the matter level for a client will still show up on your accounting level when you're trying to reconcile, when you're trying to pull out all the transactions for respective reports, accounts. All of them will show under the respective, if it's trust account under trust. If it's general account, I could go into general account and see I received 2,500 from the client, and I also received 300 from the trust. Both of it showing right on the top here, right? So, yeah, that's trust in general. Now let's go to monthly compliances. We spoke about 2 ledgers, 4 journals, 3 reconciliation documents, trust general, and credit card mostly. Credit card comes under the general account itself. You just have to switch tabs to see that. And if somebody has multiple trust accounts, then they have to do trust multi-account reconciliation statement. And we have, other than that, fee books, expense books, Form 9As, intermatter trust transfers. Intermatter trust transfer I've mostly seen for real estate lawyers who have sale purchase situations with the same client. They would move money within, yeah. You download a trust ledger, real estate. Let's also download general ledger. And I'd like to download a payment. So now look at this journal in the ledger. And I can show you now, let's say, for example, they have missed to enter a reference number. It will not show up here. And this is what the auditors would like to see. Similarly, in the statement of payment payments, right? Now, if I've missed to show the method of payment, it's going to show. If I select a random method of payment or I don't enter a reference number, this is not to show. Like, let's say, for example, I did not fill out who I was paid to. Now, these are some things that are not mandatory in uLaw. In uLaw, what is mandatory is, yes, reference numbers when you receive payments. That is mandatory. And then, yeah, mostly only that is mandatory. Everything else is it's not mandatory. So there are chances where you could miss, but it's good to have. Like, it's not bad not entering them, but it's, like I said, it's nice to have them. And the auditor would like to see it and say, look, wow, okay, your books are clean. You can see all the numbers in there. Wrong amount by mistake. A nice question. Yes, you can absolutely correct it. I mean, it's pretty easy if you have not reconciled. It's a little hard if you have already reconciled that books. Yeah, no, you just have to ensure you're an admin and then go into that respective matter or accounts, and then you have to handle it. Now, if you need help, you can always book a call with support team, mm, and or send us an email and we'll reach out to you. You can probably try doing it with us once or twice, and then you can learn how to do it, and you can do it at your end. It's not that difficult. Let me also show you how it looks. The expense book did make one expense today, but before I go ahead, I will also show you the office expenses. The expense or payment, office expenses. Let's say with a loss fee. The authorization. Let's just watch how we enter these details in less than a minute. Even better, if your bank is connected. I don't know if my bank is connected at this point. If it is, it will show up all the transactions. There you go. And tells you office expenses. You can just see there's a business promotion expense. Just say that. The debit card or a email transfer that you did, and then submit it. As simple as that when you do a bank connect. Yeah, there are a lot of YouTube videos that my team has recorded over years, like I think about 500 plus videos. And all of these webinars getting recorded. So you know, if at all you're someone who likes to explore on your own, then yes, you can do that. Now I can also fetch my bank statement from here. I can see my transactions. I'll go back in there. Let's just generate this. I'd like to show you all how these two office expenses show up too. Oh, yes, only that show. No, so now when you import the bank statement or connect the bank and then the software pulls up the transactions and tells you some of them are already recorded. Maybe you would have recorded through manual data entry, but sometimes not everything is recorded. Everything will show as take action. In my case, I had recorded some already, so some of them said take action, and then I would only take action for those items. Did one of these expenses today. You see membership fee, that particulars. And then I also had the category showing up. And then, the expense with reference numbers and all of it. If I have to show that, the general disbursement journal would show the difference, you would see the reference number with the method of payment right here. Was a pre-authorization. in comparison to the expense book. You're able to see that there. Here. Okay. And then, okay, let's try to look into one of the most important compliance documents, trust reconciliation. If you're someone who has your reconciliations to be done, get to it ASAP, because nothing like having your reconciled books or your books reconciled every other month. So you have your date to enter, reference number, and then like you now have the bank balance would come up here. Sorry, there's no reference number. You have the date and then the balance as per the bank statement. You would have to enter both of it. And you would then clear the transactions. Mine is taking forever because there are a lot of garbage transactions, a playground account. So it has maybe thousands and thousands of transactions that are unreconciled. It takes more time. So then you clear the transactions that you only see in your bank statement. So you see a bunch of transactions in your bank statement, and then you will see a few of them. You clear the ones you see there. Now you can just go in and select the date, say 31st of October. My balance as per the bank statement. One of them that is showing in blue that I've already done like a preview of the transaction. They will show. Preview is another cool thing that will give you a lot of, saves you time. So you can preview the transaction, go back and then come back. The ones in blue, they're for sure previewed already. So you can just close your eyes, clear them, and then clear the rest of them. And then the reconciliation button will pop. So that's about the reconciliations and, the other transactions. Yeah, in real life, it appears quickly. Yeah, like I said, mine is a playground account that was never reconciled, so that's why it's taking time. So, okay, now I'm gonna use the last 2 minutes for one of the most important things, like compliance documents. Like I said, are all available under accounts compliance. Data entry is the most important thing here. Data entry is the key element. So once you've got that covered, I don't think you have any other problem here. But yes, you need to do that. It's an ongoing thing. You don't do it 1 month and then you don't take a break and then you don't come back. I disappeared and then you come back after 2 months and tell me, Deeply, you know what, I don't see this there. This is not right. This is not my books. This is not my balances. This is not my bank statement showing. There are people calling me and say things like that. Like, you have to first come down, breathe, and then let's talk. Right? So clear your head, and then, just my humble request and suggestion is to always keep in touch with you. Always keep in touch with your software on a daily basis, on a regular basis. There's no way we are going to let you down until you keep adding the transactions on a daily basis. We're going to give you the best. We're doing that, and this is the FinSight dashboard for all of you. If you're in uLaw, on the very top, you will see FinSight dashboard. It's on the red color. There's no way you can miss it. Click on it, and then it'll open a new tab with all the details. You can might scare you, some things might upset you, some things might excite you. So this is an absolute mixed emotions here right now. You get to see how much profit you've made first of all. Good, bad, profit, loss, yes. And then you get to see how much was billed out, how much was collected. These are some things that will really thrill you, excite you, surprise you. Be ready for it. And if at all you feel something uncomfortable that you see on this page, that you feel that is not right, you can always take help of our bookkeeping team. You can take help of our support teams. Come on a call, challenge us, talk to us. Let's, understand what it is. But trust me, we give you what you give us. There's no way I'm going to be able to give you an output if there's no input, right? So just go with that in mind, and with a very open mind, look at your fin side. My personal favorite is way to the bottom. No, I mean, accounts receivable is pretty straightforward. We have that in the accounts page also. The invoice balance report shows what is each matter balance, invoice balance, how much of it is pending trust transfer. Does the client owe you anything? Have you missed on trust transfer? Then you know what? You can just go through that and then go into that client's matter and do it. But like I said, my personal favorite is this last two tabs here. Client's trust balance and client's invoice balance. Client's trust balance is basically how much of a balance that client has in trust. Any inactivity and stuff for more than a few months, you will have to report that on your annual report. At that time, these things comes really helpful because you can actually segregate the data by less than a year, less than 1 to 2 years, or rather between 1 to 2 years, or 2 to 5 years, or all. And then you can actually play around with this data a bit and see what you need. But trust me, inside dashboard, that has really made a difference to many of us, for people who are unaware of things. It brings a little light to this topic. If you're someone who has not explored it, update your books and then explore it. Not without updating your books or entries. I wouldn't recommend you to take a look at it. Make sure your books are up to date before you check this, and then yeah, the rest of it is yours. So everything is straightforward. It's easier for you to take control of it. Any questions? I'm opening the floor. And once again, thank you everyone for joining in today. Thank you, Ian. You've always been a big support to us, and I'm so glad you're using it. I would actually request everyone here to come back with feedbacks, and I can share it with my support. I can share it with the developers. It's nice to have a little close-knit here to see people using the features that gets launched every now and then. So yes, do let me know. Thank you, everyone. And I'll stop the recording so I can share today's attendance link and the topic information. But continue asking your questions. I'm here for another 5 minutes, so be happy to share more information. Thank you and have a good day.